this is extra credit number 1, Savannah Boletto. So starting off, first I import my turtle, create the screen, name my turtle. I've named it Bean. It's the name of my cat, so that's the reason for that. Let me go ahead and, and then starting off, what I'm doing here is I'm just getting my turtle in the correct corner. The reason I'm doing this is so when we do draw the chessboard, we can see everything. So I want the turtle to start in the upper left corner of the screen. So that's all that this is doing here. Going down, our first defining thing is going to be this. I'm defining small square 1. So it's defined, turtle T will draw square size SZ, filled in color 1. So color 1 here, SZ, and this is the turtle here. So first, I want to fill the color. So I start off and I want it to be filled with color 1. So that's the variable there. I begin the fill, I create the square. Something to note here too, I also want to make sure the pen size is the same color as the fill. So again, the variable is going to be color 1. I end the fill, and then what I'm doing here is just setting up the turtle in the correct position to create another square. So pen up for the size of the square and then pen down. As we run this, we should just have one red square. And there we are. Let's go ahead and comment this out. And we'll move down here. So that's one red square. Now we also need a blue square, or color 2. It doesn't really matter the colors because we can change that however we want. But in this case, color 2 will be blue here. And this is the exact same as the other one, only I want it to be filled with color 2. Exact same setup of making sure the turtle's in the correct position. So if we go ahead and run this, we should have one blue square. And there we are. Alright, we'll go ahead and comment that out as well. So those are my 2 helper functions, which will help create these other 2 helper functions. So starting off, defining line of small square, and this is line 1. So turtle T draws a row of squares, size SC, n times. The squares will start and then alternate between color 1 and color 2. Now, line of small square 1 and line of small square 2 are nearly identical, except for the fact that in this case, I want it for square 1, line square 1, it's going to start with color 1. And in this one, it's going to start with color 2. Because the chessboard is alternating for each row, I found it was easier to just create a definition or a sequence in order to create that first line, and then to create one that starts with blue to create the second one. Now things I've done, one, I've increased the speed so it just draws faster, so the turtle moves faster, otherwise it takes quite a while. And this here. So, if I were to run this without this, it would take n times as being n small square 1s and n small square 2s. So let's say I want an 8 by 8, in this case I'm looking for 8, so an 8 by 8 chessboard. This would create a 16 by 16 chessboard because they would consider it 8 red squares and 8 blue squares, or 8 color 1 squares and 8 color 2 squares. What I want is 8 squares total, and I want 4 color red and 4 color blue, or color 1 and color 2. So what I've gone ahead and done is n is going to be equal to n divided by 2. Now, if I were just plug that in without the int here, it wouldn't work. It would consider this a string. So what I want to make sure that I change this or change it into an integer. I could change it into a float as well, but right now it'll consider it a string, so it won't work, so I want to change it to integer. So if we go ahead and run this, what we should find is a line starting with red, alternating back and forth between blue and red, and we should have 8 squares total. And if we go and run this, and I have it going faster, so I just go through. And there we are. So we have 3, 6, 7, 8. Perfect. So we'll go ahead and comment that out. We should get pretty much the same thing with this one, except for it will start with blue. So let's go ahead and run this. And starting with blue, we have the 8 squares again, and then we use those two helper functions to create the main chessboard. So we're defining the chessboard here as turtle size, color 1, color 2, and n. So turtle T draws an n by n chessboard. Each square is of size SC, and color alternates between color 1 and color 2. Now this is just the speed. I want it as fast as possible to just draw it as quickly as possible. So for I in range, so I've created my for loop here that will create the whole chessboard. Now, as you saw before, I did the n is assigned to integer n divided by 2. Now that is going to be the length of the row, but we also want to make sure, I guess you could call it the width, but that the other n, so we have this n here being n divided by 2, but we don't have this n per se. So if I just had n here, it would, from left to right, there would be 8 blocks total, but from top to bottom, there would be 16 blocks, because again, it would consider 8 red, 8 blue, or 8 rows of each one coming down. So I want to make sure that from top to bottom, there's 8 squares total. So again, exact same thing. I want to make sure this is an int, so it's n divided by 2. I have my helper functions here. So I have my first line that's going to start with red in this case. And what I've done here, what this is here, is just to make sure that turtle is back in the correct position at the very beginning to create my next line. So what I found easiest is I brought the pen up, I turned 90, down the size of the block, 90 again, and then this here brings the turtle all the way back to the beginning of the line. I turn it 180 so it's facing right again, pen down, and it will draw that next line. So starting with the blue, this line starts with the blue in this case. Draws the complete line, again pen up, and again starts it over. So if we go ahead and do this, we should have an 8 by 8 chessboard with red and blue alternating. And I have it going really fast. So again, we see that 8 by 8. And that should be it there. Perfect. And there's our chessboard there. Now, if we want to plug in any other number, we can absolutely do that. So if we want, let's say, plug in 60, even if we didn't want, or if we wanted to do different colors, we can totally do that. Let's say light green, hot pink, and let's say we wanted to have a board that's 6 by 6. So we should have a board that's 6 by 6. So we have 6 total here, which is perfect, and we should have 6 from top to bottom here. Again, if I didn't have that int, or n is not equal to, but assigned to n divided by 2, or int n divided by 2, then this instead would be 12 by 12, which we don't want. We want 6 squares by 6 squares, so 3 of each. Alright, and there's that. Hope that explained everything. We'll go ahead and comment this out. And there it is, extra credit number 1.